This is Cassie with MyCounselor.Online, and today I have September Trent, one of our awesome therapists, with me to talk about her article, Anxiety in Children. Thank you for making time to meet with me about this article, September.
No problem. I'm glad to do it.
Awesome. Okay, so one of the first things you immediately dive into is, let's talk about the purpose of anxiety. Like, there's actually a reason for anxiety, and we tend to think anxiety is a bad word. Like, it's not good, it's stressful, it connotates stress for us, but you immediately say there are healthy purposes sometimes for certain levels of anxiety. So talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. We have anxiety for a reason. All of us have some level of anxiety, and it can be good in that anxiety helps us meet deadlines, because sometimes for some of us, if we didn't have that anxiety to meet that deadline, we wouldn't. Yeah. It also, makes us be prepared for maybe work, school, just other areas of our life. On the flip side, it also helps us to just know if like we're in danger, or if listening to our bodies, okay, if this is safe or not. And so there are some reasons why we have anxiety. But then on the flip side, there are times when anxiety is too much and it's that unhealthy level. So just realizing we have anxiety for a reason, but it can get to a level where it's unhealthy.
Yeah. So what would unhealthy anxiety in a child look like?
Yeah, definitely. It can be hard with children to really identify if it's anxiety or if it's something else.
Yeah.
But if you notice that they are not doing certain things because they mention that, okay, I don't want to do it, I'm fearful of it, or I don't really know how it's going to turn out. For example, like going to school, if maybe they don't want to go to school, they want to stay close to you. Or they're scared of thunderstorms, but then they're scared of just storms in general. They won't go outside. They won't be leave you because of there's a storm, it's raining, those types of things. And so that's when you notice that they're having difficulty functioning in everyday life, that's when you have to, take a stance and say, okay, is this more than what I think it is? Do they need help beyond what I can offer them?
Yeah, that makes sense. So as the parent of a child with anxiety, we are going to be their biggest advocate. And you talk about this at the end of your article, but I want to lead out with it in the idea that we kind of have to check our hearts sometimes as parents, Sometimes when that child has anxiety, we can have a tendency to see it as a burden to us, or an offense against us, or purposeful to not cooperate with our plans, instead of coming alongside that child and helping teach them how to manage their anxiety. And I know as I was reading this, I definitely had to check my heart as a mom and just remember that God gave me to my children to be their advocate, to be their helper. And it's not just my job to just like herd them through life and learn this, do this, but to get the privilege to teach them how to walk through challenging things. And anxiety in your child is such an opportunity for you to build relationship with them and to really come alongside them and help them. And so you have some specific strategies in here for that, and I'm hoping that you can share some of that in our talk today.
Yeah, definitely. I think the very first place to start is teaching deep breathing to them. Because when you feel anxiety, usually you have very short breaths, you don't get a lot of air into your lungs. And when you have that deep breathing, getting more oxygen helps you think clearly. And so just helping them, you can tell them that, hey, you can tell them that it's like having a balloon in your stomach, and encouraging them to breathe in and put air in that balloon, and then breathe out and seeing that balloon get smaller. And that can just help them understand, okay, this is how much I have to breathe in and out, and it needs to be slow. It needs to be not as fast as I have been when I'm experiencing anxiety, or just on a normal level that I usually breathe. And then once you've taught that, and it's good to teach that or have them practice that like before they're going to
Oh
bed.
my gosh, I was just thinking that. I was like imagining me trying to teach my child that's prone to anxiety. Okay, well, just, watch your tummy like a balloon. Ah! So I was just thinking, okay, we need to have a practice session about balloon breathing.
Yes, it's good to do it when they're not experiencing anxiety. I usually recommend before people go to bed, because they can relax, and then that helps them go to sleep. And so it's so important to practice these things before they experience anxiety, so that they already know how to do it, and it's kind of just second nature to do it when they're experiencing anxiety. And as a parent, help them learning how to do these things, and so that you can do it with them when they're experiencing anxiety, so that they know what to do.
Yeah, and so they're not alone.
Yes.
In their this is a huge challenge for them. This is a consuming challenge. It's a physical, emotional thing that they're experiencing.
Yes.
So to not feel alone, big deal.
Yeah, and once you teach the deep breathing, can go on to what we call progressive relaxation. And that's basically just teaching your child how to relax the different parts of their body. I think it's helpful with a child is just having them lay on their bed, on the floor, and stretch completely out, and reminding them or helping them feel, okay, what does it feel like when those muscles are really tight? And encouraging them, you can do it all at once if that's better for them to understand, or each muscle, like their feet, their legs, their stomach, having them release that tension and see what it feels like to be relaxed. And this just,
I remember doing that with doing a progressive relaxation, and they're like, okay, now tense your eyebrows. And we don't even think about that, but how much stress is in our face muscles. And so having that opportunity to tense them and feel what it felt like and then release, I think that can help bring focus to one thing at a time too. So they're not focused on the other things, they're focused on that one thing.
Yeah, definitely. And it helps them identify where they feel that tension. Because some of us, like you said, in your face or shoulders or their back, and just recognizing that. And that really leads into the next one about distraction, because you mentioned with progressive relaxation, focusing on body parts, but can also focus on other things, enjoyable things that help distract them from what they're experiencing. That can be specific to your child. I mean, even making a list of things that they can do to help distract them from the anxiety at that point in time.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah.
The one other thing that you mentioned in your article is visualization. And I think that term, it's a very broad term.
Yes.
So in my mind and my experience, I would like to hear you talk through what you see it being for kids, and kind of how you would help your child do that.
Yeah, that is a very broad term, and don't want parents to stray away from that, because it is kind of maybe a new age term, and maybe kind of what does that mean? But basically, that's just helping your child within their mind, seeing a place that's safe to them. And want to build this on top of deep breathing, because usually you do deep breathing, and then encouraging your child while they're sitting in a comfortable position, eyes closed, just thinking of a place that they feel safe or that they enjoy. And that may be the park, the pool, grandma's house, maybe a trip that you took with them, and just having them visualize that in their mind, and helping them get to a point where they are really there in their minds, and doing that by, okay, what is it that you see? What is it you hear? What is it that you can touch?
Engaging their senses around it.
Yeah, definitely. And so that really helps them get their mind in that happy place, in that safe place, so that they're not focused on the fear of the anxiety. And then once they do that, just kind of bringing them back to the room, and usually just, having them visualize walking back into wherever room that they're at. And so this is something that you'll have to probably help them with for a while, but just letting them know that at any point that they feel scared, anxiety, they can go to this place that's safe for them at any point in time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super helpful. I
Yeah.
think even as adults, we don't realize that we can use our brains as a resource
Yeah.
to ground ourselves emotionally and physically too, because our bodies respond to what our brain is telling them to do with our thoughts.
Yes.
So very interesting. Um, for a second, talk to parents. Talk to parents with a child who is experiencing anxiety and is disrupting all the plans that they have, and they're concerned their child is never going to be a functional member of society. Like, what do you say to a parent when they come in? And I think it's hard for parents to balance. Like, we want to teach our kids wise things, and we want them to grow in honoring others and understanding how to cope. But at the same time, there's that, like, we want it done now, but there's a very real struggle here that's not just a child's willfulness. It's not just them trying to have their own way. It's a real thing they're struggling with.
Yeah. Yeah. I think first off, just letting the parent know that there is hope. It doesn't have to be like this forever. And gaining understanding about what specifically their child is anxious about and what anxiety looks like, feels like for your child is going to give you information on, okay, how then can I help them? How then can I know if it's anxiety rather than a temper tantrum or something else?
Yes.
And so having information on that, and then gaining support if you need help outside of your family, or just even for you if you're struggling with parenting this situation, gaining support from friends, trusted friends, so that when you approach the child and helping your child, you're not maybe on edge, irritable. You can fully be there with your child.
Yeah.
And knowing that the best thing that you can do as a parent is be there for them and let them know, hey, I care about you, I love you, and I'm going to do my best to help you through this situation.
Yeah. Making sure you fill up your cup
Yeah.
emotionally and also with knowledge about where they're at, so that you can come as a whole parent to engage the situation.
Yeah.
That's so good. So good. Okay, well, thanks for meeting with me about this article. This was tremendously helpful to me. And I just appreciate your time, September.
No problem. Glad to do it.